In this video, we're sharing 5 little tricks that have helped us out when woodworking over the years. Now, our first little trick is a simple method for making dowel. As you can see on screen, all you do is to cut your piece of wood roughly to the size that you would like your dowel. You then hammer the piece of wood through a metal circle, and this shapes it into the dowel. On other videos, you'll see us demonstrating making toys. We made a wagon. So for the wagon, you needed a piece of dowel for the axle for the wheels to go on. And that's the method that we use to make our dowel. On to our second tip, and this is to do with marking gauges and compasses. What do you do if you haven't got a marker gauge to score a line on your project? Or what do you do if you want to mark out a circle? Well, a simple little method is to cut a piece of wood, put a screw into it, and screw it into the distance you want to mark the line, and use the edge of the screw to score a line into the wood. Simple little method that can be used as a replacement for a marker gauge. Moving on to compasses and circles. Simple method that we use is to drill a hole through a piece of wood, drop a screw through. You can then screw this into the piece of wood that you want to draw a circle on. Get a pencil and elastic bands, attach the pencil to your piece of wood, and then move your piece of wood around in a circle. As long as you keep your pencil straight and square, you will mark out a perfect circle, meaning that you do not need to worry about finding your compass. Another trick that proved very useful to us here at our family workshop, because I'm afraid to say we're terrible at losing things all the time. Our third woodworking trick is aimed towards scroll sawers, but it can also be used if you're working on all sorts of different saws. This little trick is to screw 2 pieces of wood together. What that means is when you then cut out your profile, you've cut out 2 at the same time, meaning half the time spent cutting out. For ourselves, at our family workshop, any time saving that you can do, it's a valuable thing. Over the course of a year, all of these little savings add up and allow us to be more productive. So tip number 3 is to screw 2 pieces of wood together when cutting out. It'll allow you to double the amount you can make. On to tip number 4, and this one is purely for scroll saw enthusiasts. Now, when you're doing pierce work, one thing that can be frustrating is the block that you've cut out. It can stay in your way, in the line that you're cutting, and that can cause problems in terms of cutting a jagged edge, and it can slow you down. It can be quite frustrating. Because we're doing many hours of pierce work every year, this is something that we needed to find a solution for. Our solution was to remove the plate that surrounds the blades. By doing so, this allows the block to drop down the gap, out of your way, and allowing you to continue cutting cleanly without the block of wood providing an obstruction to your path. So that's our simple little trick to speed up the process of doing pierce work. It is worth noting with this one, it's not as effective with smaller pieces of wood because you have got a larger gap around the blades. So this is generally when you are scroll sawing with medium to larger pieces of woods. Our final trick is more of a little tip to do with screwing two pieces of wood together. Very simple trick, but it's amazing how often we see this done incorrectly. Basically, the tip is to select the right drill bit to drill your hole in the top piece of wood. In our first demonstration, we've selected a drill bit that is too small. That means you have to screw the screw into the top piece of wood as well as into the bottom piece of wood. The problem with doing this is as you screw into the bottom piece of wood, they tend to pull away from each other. It's far more difficult to get the two pieces of wood to pull together. In our second demonstration, you'll see we start with a countersink. This allows the head of the screw to stay flush with the wood when it's fully screwed in, and we select a drill bit that is fractionally wider than the shank of the screw. This means that when you go to screw in, the screw will go through the top piece of wood and you will be screwing into the bottom piece of wood, allowing the two pieces of wood to be pulled together more easily. So there you go, just a simple little tip, our final trick to help you out when woodworking. Hopefully some of those ideas are useful. Let us know in the comments section. Do you plan on using any of those little tricks yourself? Let us know which one you plan on using first. Thank you again for watching, and as always, we'll be back again soon with more videos.